Welcome to the Stoic Faith Channel. Fear is the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind. It creates walls where there are doors. It whispers lies about catastrophes that will never happen. It keeps you small, quiet, and paralyzed. But what if I told you that fear is not a monster, but a mist? A mist that vanishes the moment you step through it with the light of reason. The ancient Stoics did not live easy lives. They faced exile, war, plague, and tyranny. Yet they walked through fire without being burned by terror. How? Because they understood the anatomy of fear. They developed mental weapons to strip it of its power. Today, we are going to walk through 7 Stoic lessons that will dismantle your fears, piece by piece, until nothing remains but your own unshakable strength. Let us begin. The first lesson is that fear is a judgment, not a reality. Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, taught us that men are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Think about something you are afraid of right now. Public speaking, losing your job, a relationship ending. The event itself hasn't happened. It is neutral. The fear comes from the story you are telling yourself about the event. You are telling yourself it will be unbearable. You are telling yourself you won't survive it. But that is a judgment, not a fact. The Stoic realizes that the event is outside of us, but the fear is inside of us. If you change the judgment, the fear evaporates. Stop saying, "This is terrible." Start saying, "This is an event and I have the resources to handle it." The second lesson is to distinguish between imagination and reality. Seneca famously said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Fear thrives in the future. It lives in the what-ifs. What if I fail? What if they laugh? What if I lose everything? But notice something important. You are here, right now, in the present. And in this present moment, you are okay. The future does not exist yet. It is a ghost. When you are afraid, you are letting a ghost haunt a living person. The Stoics train themselves to pull their mind back from the terrifying future and anchor it in the manageable present. You can handle this moment. You can handle this breath. Do not let your mind run a horror movie of a future that has not arrived. The third lesson is the practice of premeditation. This sounds contradictory, but to defeat fear, you must look it in the eye. The Stoics practice something called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Instead of running from your worst fears, visualize them. Sit down and ask yourself, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? If I lost my job, what would I actually do? I would cut costs. I would search for work. I would survive. When you dissect the worst-case scenario, you realize 2 things. First, it is unlikely to happen. And second, even if it does, it is not the end of the world. You are stronger than you think. By exposing the monster to the light, you see it for what it is, just a shadow. The fourth lesson is to accept that you cannot control the outcome. Much of our fear comes from trying to control things that belong to fortune. We fear what others think because we want to control their opinions. We fear the economy because we want to control the market. But the Stoic knows that the only thing we truly control is our own mind and our own actions. The rest is not up to us. When you detach your happiness from external results, fear loses its grip. If you do your best and the result is failure, you can accept it with grace because your effort was within your control, but the outcome was not. Surrender the need for control, and you surrender the heavy burden of anxiety. The fifth lesson is that the obstacle is the way. Fear is often a compass. It shows us exactly where we need to go. We fear difficult conversations. We fear taking risks. We fear the unknown. But the Stoics understood that the very thing standing in our way is the path to our growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you feel fear rising, view it as a signal. It means you are about to step out of your comfort zone. It means you are about to grow. Do not turn away from the fear. Lean into it. Use it as fuel. The fear is not a stop sign. It is a starting gun. The sixth and final lesson is to remember your mortality. This is the ultimate Stoic tool. Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. This sounds morbid to the modern ear, but to the Stoic, it is liberating. Most of our fears are petty. We fear embarrassment, we fear rejection, we fear minor failures. But when you zoom out and look at your life against the backdrop of eternity, these fears look ridiculous. You are a blip in the timeline of the universe. Why spend your precious, limited time trembling in the corner? Why worry about the opinions of people who will also be buried one day? Death strips away the non-essential. It leaves you with only what matters: truth, virtue, and love. Use your mortality to crush your trivial fears. You do not have time to be afraid. The seventh and final lesson is that courage is not the absence of fear, but action in spite of it. Many people wait to feel brave before they act. The Stoics knew this was backward. You become brave by doing brave things. Courage is a muscle. It is developed by dragging your feet with your heart pounding in your chest and doing the right thing anyway. The goal is not to eliminate the biological sensation of fear. That is impossible. We are human. The goal is to refuse let that sensation dictate your actions. You can feel the fear and still sign the paper. You can feel the fear and still walk onto the stage. You can feel the fear and still speak the truth. Every time you act despite the trembling, you strip fear of its power. You prove to yourself that you are the master of your house. So here is the summary of your new life without the chains of terror. Understand that fear is a judgment you create. Live in the reality of the present, not the nightmare of the future. Visualize the worst so it cannot surprise you. Focus only on what you control. Use fear as a compass for growth. Remember that life is short. And finally, act before you feel ready. Fear will always knock on the door. That is natural. But because of these Stoic lessons, you no longer have to invite it in for dinner. You have the keys to the fortress of your mind. If this video helped you find a spark of courage, please like and subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who is currently fighting a battle with fear. Until next time, stay strong, stay rational, and do not let the shadows win. Peace.